Well, this is a fantastic Prismatic Poison Warlock PVE build, which you can use in multiple situations like Nightfalls, raids, dungeons, and also Grandmaster content as well. We're going to be fast charging our super and our transcendence meters, plus we're going to be spreading poison all over the place through our exotic armor and our weapons. Well, today I'm going to get into the build, why it's good, plus the gameplay as well, so you can spread prismatic poison all over your enemies in Destiny 2. Well, if you like this video, then subscribe for more Destiny 2 content, plus also you can like the video and turn on notifications to never miss an update from Endgame Express. Okay, first of all, why this build is good. So this build is all about building up overall damage output through a combination of our exotic armor plus our prismatic subclass and our exotic weapon. We're going to be damaging enemies with our poison area of effect, plus we're going to have really fast super regeneration and transcendence generation as well. You know, we want to be in our transcendent state, given we're using our facet of grace to bolster our kinetic weapon, plus also we've got multiple melee charges to unravel enemies. Okay, next up, let's have a look at how to put this build together, and then we're going to get into the gameplay loop. So first of all, how to put this build together, and we've got the exotic armor first of all. So you can use two things here. You can either use the baseline necrotic grip, that is the exotic gloves for the Warlock, or you can use the exotic class item that came with the final shape. So either or, I think they're both really good for this build. So with necrotic grip, you've got the perk Grasper the Devourer, damaging a target with melee poisons and dealing increased damage over time. Defeating a poison target spreads the condition. Well, then we've got the exotic class item, and that can come with the Spirit of the Necrotic, so damaging targets with your melee poisons them, and defeating a poison target spreads the condition. So when you do get an exotic class item, you can get another perk, so you get two perks on each exotic class item, and the must-have perk is Spirit of the Necrotic. I also got one with Spirit of the Claw to pair with Necrotic, and that gains an additional melee charge, and that is going to be really, really useful for this build. Well, to get the necrotic grip, you can pick them up from Rahul in the tower, and to get the exotic class item, you want to try the Dual Destiny exotic post-final shape campaign mission, and good luck getting a good drop of that class item. Well, next up, let's have a look at the subclass. I'm using Prismatic, so first of all, I'm using Song of Flame for my super. That makes your equipped weapons radiant, enhances your abilities. So while on your super, you release a supercharged melee attack that launches additional projectiles, and the grenade creates a sentinel flame wisp that seeks out targets and detonates in scorching explosions, and then seeks out other nearby targets too. For my melee, I'm using Arcane Needle, so you sling a woven needle that can embed in your target, unraveling them. You can activate your melee ability again to chain up 2 additional attacks. For my grenade, I'm using a Storm Grenade, and that cools down a focused lightning storm, and that's going to jolt targets. And then I've got my Transcendence Grenade as well when I'm in my Transcendent state. So you throw a massive void and stasis energy. On impact, it deploys a miniature black hole orbited by a slowing field. So you've got a really good combination here with your melee. You've got Strand. With your regular grenade, you've got Arc. And with your Transcendent Grenade, you've got Void and Stasis. So you are really cooking on gas with your dark and your light powers here. For my class ability, I'm using Phoenix Dive. And you dive to the ground and create a burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. For my aspects, first of all, using Hellion, that is solar, so activate your class ability to summon a solar mortar that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets, and targets damaged by the mortar are scorched. And then also feed the void, so defeating a target with any ability to activate Devour, and that gives us a good amount of health, plus also a near infinite stream of grenades. Next up, let's have a look at the fragments. So first of all, Facet of Grace. Defeating a target with a kinetic weapon grants you bonus transcendent energy, and defeating targets with your super grants you and nearby allies bonus transcendent energy. Then we got Facet of Dominance, so your Void Grenades weaken targets and your Arc Grenades jolt targets, so that is going to work really, really well with the Storm Grenade. Next up, Facet of Protection, so while you're surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage, and while Transcendent, the effect is increased, and this is going to help us stay alive, especially in endgame content. Next up, Facet of Dawn, so powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant, and powered melee final blows makes you and nearby allies radiant, and we're going to be having loads of melee hits here, especially if you've got that exotic class item with a good roll. For example, Spirit of the Claw, that gives you an additional melee charge. You're already going to have a few melee charges on this build, so Facet of Dawn is really going to help you out. Then finally, Facet of Ruin, so increase the size and the damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and also increases the area of effect of solar ignitions. So solar ignitions, so in our super we're going to have those solar melee attacks. We're also going to be building up Scorch, and that's going to turn into ignitions. It's going to cause solar explosions, and also through Hellion to one of our aspects, that's going to really help. That's going to get that damage over time from a distance with the solar ignitions. Well, next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So in my primary slot, I'm using Thorn. So this one is an exotic kinetic hand cannon. It's got some really good perks, including Mark of the Devourer. So rounds pierce targets and deal damage over time. And then you've got Soul Devourer, so absorbing a remnant strengthens Mark of the Devourer and partially refills the magazine. So Thorn works hand in hand with the necrotic abilities. You're giving it procs Grasp of the Devourer, when you can spread poison from a distance, taking out all kinds of enemies very quickly. In the energy slot, I'm using Indebted Kindness. It's a legendary energy sidearm with a rocket-assisted frame, and that sidearm fires self-propelled rocket ammunition, and projectiles explode on impact for high damage. In the heavy slot, I'm using a machine gun, a strand machine gun. This one is Pro Memoria, and this one is a Pale Heart weapon. And you've got Dealer's Choice on this one for the origin trait, so final blows of the weapon grant a small amount of super energy, so it's all going to help build up that super energy nice and quickly. For the armor mods on my head, I'm using Kinetic Siphon, so rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power, and then also Ashes to Assets that helps us get super energy on grenade kills. On my arms, I'm using Firepower, so your grenade final blows create orbs of power, and also Bolstering Detonation, grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade, and we're going to have loads of grenades with this build. On my chest, I'm using Solar Arc and Void Resistance, and then on the legs, Kinetic Weapons Surge, so your kinetic weapons gain a small bonus to damage when you get any armor charge, and your armor charge now decays over time. Insulation is also very good, and on my class item, Time Dilation, so your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. Reaper, so shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawn an orb of power. On the artifact mods, I'm using Radiant Orbs, so while you have a solar or prismatic subclass equipped, picking up an orb of power makes you radiant. That's going to be very useful indeed. And also Galvanic Armor, so while you've got an arc or prismatic subclass equipped, incoming damage from combatants is reduced while you are amplified. Okay, next up, let's have a look at the gameplay loop. So much of the build is focused around melee attacks, given that helps spread poison through our Necrotic Grip or Spirit of the Necrotic on our class item. Our melee is multi-purpose. So we hit a melee charge to unravel enemies, and that kicks off the passive damage, and also dark damage too for building our transcendence meter. We can use Phoenix Dive and then Hellion together. That creates a solar mortar that's going to scorch and eventually ignite enemies with a solar explosion. Then we've got our storm grenades working with Facet of Dominance to jolt enemies. So we've got Unravel, we've got Scorch, we've got Jolt, all working together. Plus, we haven't even mentioned the poison effects from our melee and our class abilities as well. So we then pair up our exotic armor with Thorn to help spread the poison from a distance, and we are simply going to melt everything that is in our way. So Warlocks, take this one into endgame PVE, and let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think of the build. Share your builds in the comments, and also let me know if you've got any improvements to this build. And what I'll do, I'll leave a dim link down there in the description of the video so you can equip this nice and easily through Destiny Item Manager. Well, that is it for this build today. It's a Prismatic Poison endgame Warlock build in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button down below for even more Destiny 2 content here on Endgame Express. You can also like the video and share the video too. That would help us out here on the channel. Well, thanks again. I'll see you soon. Well, thank you for watching that video, and today I'd like to talk about Endgame Express Backstage, the home of exclusive content for fans of Endgame Express. To join, simply join up through Patreon or the YouTube membership, You get early access and exclusive content, shout-outs in the videos, access to live streams, plus also access to our exclusive Endgame Express backstage community Discord. Well, here's some more information about the tiers. So in Tier 1, that is $2.99 a month, you get access to our community Discord and also early access to content. In Tier 2, that is $4.99 and you get shoutouts in the credits of videos, and also you get access to community polls and help shape the content. For Tier 3, that is $8.99 and you'll get access to exclusive community videos and also get access to exclusive live streams as well. Well, the core content on Endgame Express is always going to be free, but if you want to go above and beyond and support Endgame Express, then all you need to do is get access to Endgame Express Backstage today through Patreon or YouTube membership. You know, Endgame Express is a one-man band right now, but I would love to expand into more games, podcasts, more channels, but to do that, I'm going to need your help to make this sustainable, and in return, I offer you some exclusive benefits and backstage-only content. Well, if you enjoy Endgame Express, then consider Endgame Express Backstage today. You can hit that membership button right down below, or you can find us on the Patreon links, and you'll find those links in the description. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you very soon.